Hey, Shalom, it's your brother Yuwanathon. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem. I want to say Shalom to all the brothers, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your house. Today, I want to talk briefly to you about regeneration or reincarnation. And this is vital to understanding prophecy. This is vital to moving the way the Lord is going to require for us to move in the days to come. If you don't grasp this topic, there's a lot of things in the scriptures that'll go over your head. The first chapter, I'm going to go to Ecclesiastes, of course, but I want to go to John the 9th chapter really quick, just to show you that this understanding was amongst our people, and not was it just amongst our people, it was understood to be true. So this is John 9, and we're going to start at the top of the chapter. This is John 9:1. It says, "And Yahweh Shai passed by. He saw a man which was blind from his birth." So this is one of the miracles the Lord performed. Now, this man was blind from his birth. He wasn't made blind. He didn't get in an accident. He was born this way. And for all of you that know have heard about the hell topic, hell and heaven are living conditions. We might dabble into a little bit of that as well. And Yahweh Shai passed by, and he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, "Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Let's stop and let's think about what the disciples are actually asking who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. They're saying, or did his parents sin that he was born blind? Now, what could he have done to be born that way? Can you do something as a fetus, or is it talking about prior life? Now, if there's no regeneration, and that's not the proper thought process to have, the disciples would have been rebuked by our Lord, right? They were like, "Hey, no, what are you into? That's not how that works." He would have rebuked them. He would have told them, "No, that's off." Right? But let's continue on. And the disciples asked him, saying, "Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Yahweh Shai answered, "Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents." So he didn't disagree with that thought process or that train of thought. All right? And he goes on to say, "But that the works of God should be made manifest in him." So that man was specifically was born blind or given that condition so that Yahweh Shai could come along and heal him, and then it could be revealed to people that he indeed was the Son of God, so that the Lord could be glorified through the power. But there are people who have conditions on them as a judgment for things they've done prior. And to prove that, we'll go to Ecclesiastes. My biological father, when he was killed before I came into this truth, learning about how life and death works helped me understand and cope and get through that time in my life. And without this understanding, I may have done some foolish things. Particular things. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 3, and we'll jump to verse 16 to the point. It says that, "Moreover, I saw under the sun," what's under the sun? The earth. "And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there." Because here is where hellish conditions play out and heavenly conditions play out. There are some people on earth right now who are living in a heavenly state. There are others who are living in generational suffering. There's a people who are under generational curses, as prophesied in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. Let's continue on here. Verse 17, "I said in my heart, God shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every work." Now, let's go back to chapter 1, Ecclesiastes chapter 1. All right, Ecclesiastes 1, let's start at verse 9. It says, "The thing that hath been is that which shall be, and is that which shall be done. And now there's no new thing under the sun. Are you new?" Let's go back to the top of this verse that we just read. Verse 9, Ecclesiastes 1:9. "The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be." All right. So what is the thing that hath been? Let's go to Ecclesiastes, the 6th chapter, and the 10th verse. Let's find out what the thing that hath been is. It says, "That which hath been is named already, and it is known that it is man." Man is the thing which hath been. You understand? Now let's go back to Ecclesiastes 1:9 again from the top. "The thing which hath been, which shall be, and that is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had already been of old time, which was before us." Boom. Continuing on, "There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come hereafter. And we don't have memory of our past lives. Now, somebody may experience deja vu. Oh man, I've done this before. I met you before. This seems familiar, right? You may have that, but we don't have memories from our past lives. Imagine if Jake had all the memories from hardcore cattle slavery, being whipped and the wives being raped in front of them, the women being, the Northern Kingdom women being hung upside down and being split open, the pregnant women being split open and their fetuses being stomped and them bleeding out. Imagine if they had all those memories. Could you function as a normal member of society with all that vivid trauma of death over and over and over? You have PTSD. You see guys who've experienced a war, they come back and it's hard for them to just function. So the Lord, you probably did us a huge favor not letting us have memories of those past experiences. It'd be hard to make connections with people. You know what I mean? If we had memories of all our past lives, you have a woman, you really can't even really be attached to her. The women thinking about past, it would just be off, right? So that was all I wanted in Ecclesiastes 1. So that's how life and death works. It also plays a part in how judgment works. So I got a couple more precepts I want to get on. Let's go to one more. Ecclesiastes 12 and 7. Oh, I wasn't tripping. I knew it was one more in Ecclesiastes that I wanted. Ecclesiastes 12 and 7. All right, so here we go. And this is a big cut. I'm not going into that topic right now, but this is a cut to it. Ecclesiastes 12 and 7. Then shall the dust, we were made out of the dust. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. All spirits were to the Father. They receive a judgment, and then they live out that judgment here on the earth. It's simple and plain as that. Now, we always go to Daniel, the 12th chapter. Well, I know it's a precept I like to start off with to identify that we're in the end times. So I'm going to go into that point, but then I'm going to jump down, and it's going to point out something that should set off a light bulb in your head if the Spirit's working with you. All right, Daniel 12, and I'll read verse 1 and jump to verse 4. It's Daniel 12 and 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. Children, what people is that? The nation of Israel. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as was never since there was a nation, even to that same time, Jacob's trouble. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book of life. All right, that a portion of our people who are rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of their ability, who have faith and act on that faith. This is a precept that you can link up with Matthew 24 and 21 as well. Now, let's jump to verse 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words of the Bible and seal the book even to the time of the end. So there's a big portion of time in the earth where the fullness of the understanding of the Holy Spirit wasn't in the earth, where it wasn't something that was being pushed and spoken, where our people didn't have it, where we would be completely separated from the understanding. That's also prophesied in Jeremiah, the 17th chapter, and the 4th verse. It was told to Jeremiah that in the future, man, even he would discontinue from the heritage that the Lord gave him. Which you could even use that to say, well, there was never a point where Jeremiah was discontinued from the way of the Lord. What is that talking about? In the future, when he was back on the earth, the scriptures talk about us coming back through the line of our fathers every 3 or 4 generations, 3rd and 4th generation. That's why it was so important for a man to have a son, because that line needed to be continued, and that was your way back on the earth. Now, let's say you died without children, the Lord can still bring you back. He's the master, he's the father of spirits. He's not limited to that contingency, but that's how the Lord operates. We come back within the line of our fathers. Daniel 12 and 4. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So now that the knowledge is back in the earth, you know what time it is. The book was sealed, the understanding was sealed and taken out of the earth. But then in the end time, what? It will be back. And right now it is back, full throttle. Knowledge is being increased. The children of Israel have woken back up and are seeking to offend the Lord less. People are surnaming themselves Israel, clinging back onto that heritage. Now, he reiterates that to him back down here in verse 8. It says, and I heard not, but I understood. So I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white, and tried blameless, pardoned for their iniquity, right? Wickedly, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. but the wise shall understand. So if this word resonates with somebody and they understand it, what the Spirit beareth witness with our spirit, the Spirit being the word, all right, the Spirit beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. So if this resonates with somebody, regardless of what they look like, because this is not a complexion thing, they may be of that chosen line. Now, jumping down here to 13, he says something to Daniel, right? But go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest, meaning he was going to die in that body. Thou shalt rest. You know how they're saying it, you should rest with your fathers. For thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of days. So Daniel's going to be back on the scene doing what he's always done, prophesying at the end of days. But he died in that body. It's saying that same spirit is going to be back on the earth. These are just suits that our spirits wear. You see, that's a point I always like to make as far as lineage as well. Because you have men, like if I'm laid with a Chinese woman, my son would take on features from me and the mother. And he wouldn't look like a traditional Israelite, but the spirit that the Lord put in that body would go back to my line, simply put. So that was pretty much an abbreviated, quick and short, to the point as best I could, touching on reincarnation or regeneration. And Albaratazar was edifying. If you have any questions, leave them on the comment board and we'll go into them. I'm open to answering questions, reasonable questions, or questions that I can't just send you. If I can send you the link to it from another brother, I'll do that as well. But if I got time and I can do it myself, I'll do it. So if you have questions about today's topic or any topic, leave it in the comment board. I'll do my best to either put a link or make a lesson myself.